La for, hetephonum, all the time. Hetephonum, for Islam stand for peace.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to welcome you so much to our special edition of Inspirational African, where we host people who have caused a difference in other people's lives positively. We are speaking to Mr. Kere John Bosco, a teacher of history and CRE, Christian Religious Education, in St. Francis Secondary School for the Blind in Soroti, the eastern part of Uganda. Let us get to know who Mr. Kere John Bosco really is. Mr. Kere John Bosco, you are very much welcome to our program.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Kere John Bosco has been a teacher of history and Christian religious education for quite some time. He has also been an administrator in an orphanage in Lilera city, it's now a city, and he has done quite a number of work in helping the orphans and people with visual impairment. Mr. Kere, we want to start from who is that John Bosco Kere, that young child?
I am Kere John Bosco, as I alone mentioned. My original homeland, currently, I come from Motuke, which was a part of Lira, the Greater Lira.
Okay.
Yes, I was born in 1983 by two parents, and both of them are peasant farmers. I'm the third born in the family out of 8. Yes, as far as my education level is concerned.
Or maybe before we come to your education level,
Yes,
were
please.
you born with a visual impairment or you developed problems along the way?
No. This thing started when I was born. According to the parents, I was like 4 years. That's the time I started experiencing. It wasn't a disease the way they narrated, but they could also not guess what could have happened. That is it.
So you are not born with a visual impairment?
No.
You were born with normal
I was born
sight?
with the normal sight.
But at the age of 4,
4,
you developed a
I
complication?
started experiencing such. And of course, they also took me for medications. I went to Mengo, Mulago, and other hospitals within Uganda. They tried, but it was very difficult to reverse. Before that, I wasn't totally blind, as you see now. That time I was also partial. Could see a little bit.
Some light?
Not some light, I could see when I could write.
Okay.
But of course, one side of the eye was the one totally damaged. What brought about the total blindness? It's the experience that I got in 2010 when I was already working in the orphanage. So when I was back in home, I felt as if there was an insect that flew and entered my eyes. So when I tried to rub it, it was paining as if there poured red pepper in it. I washed with the water, the pain increased. From there, I started going to Lira Regional Hospital, eye department. I was shifted to Mengo, later to Roharo Eye Clinic in Barra. But all those were tried, but in vain. That's why you see me like this, but I wasn't totally blind.
Okay. Yes, how was your childhood like? Primary education. You say both your parents were peasants.
Yes, please.
And you are the third born.
Yes.
So after detecting that you had a problem with your eyes, what did they do?
Well, they consulted the people. At first, I was taken to normal school, and I was studying at normal school. But then, it's like those who were the head teachers and the teachers who were there knew school for the blind that was in Ngeta. They say, now, this one, we advise you, the parents, to take the boy to Ngeta Girls Primary School. That's where now, after being after my parents were told, they started now, contacted the school authority, and later I was taken to Ngetagas for my primary education. That is in 1989. That's when I started.
Your primary one.
Primary one. But since the eye was disturbing a lot, I came back in 1990 to begin afresh my studies.
Okay.
Now from there, I finished my primary education.
Where did you go for your secondary education?
My secondary education, I actually came here.
Okay.
That was 1997. That is in Sinawan. Yes, I left here up to 2000. That's when I started for my O level.
Okay.
Yes.
What was it like? Was life okay here? Was it a little bit of a challenge because you are changing the environment from Lira to Soroti now? And that transition from primary to secondary?
The most disturbing thing, as you well are aware, I hail from a peasant family. The issue that disturbed me is school fees. You know, when their parents are poor, it becomes very difficult for them to get fees in time, and at times they could come late. That is the experience I had. And also, you know, being a place which is far, during visitation, we just hear that people are being visited. But since I knew my home background, I wouldn't mind. I was not minding. When they pay my fees, I say the place is far, so the parents cannot come. So I just console myself to study until I finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you choose to become a teacher? Did you have that, dream right from childhood, or it just came about circumstantially that you should become a teacher?
True. It's not from the blue. I love teaching since my childhood. My mentor was one of the teachers who was teaching us in P1.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He's a dead called Ouma.
Okay.
Ouma was a very good teacher who loved the children so much. And Ouma used to tell the scholars to come with something for the boarders, people who live in boarding school. And normally they would bring oranges, maize, whatever. So the heart of Mr. Ouma touched me. That's how a teacher should be. So from there, I started saying in my heart, I said, when I study, I want to be a teacher. From that time up to now, I still have that heart of helping and also thinking how people suffer on earth.
Okay. So you talked of a time when you lost your sight completely now. That is about 2010?
Yes, please.
That's now a great transition in your life. Because at least before, you would look where you're going, be able to identify this and the other. That's what I believe. Tell us about that transition now. How do you adjust from partial vision to now total blindness?
Well, it is true, it was hard. That time when I started now not seeing anything at all, it hurted me a lot. Because when I wanted to do something, and I couldn't do it, and in case I wanted to go somewhere, I failed to go. Normally, I go with the help of others. Even in prayer, I used to go alone, but now, if you want to go for prayers, you need to beg someone to go and take you. Actually, it was very, very hectic, very difficult. More so, even the direction of your house. It was very, very difficult for my room where I used to sleep. If you want to go and maybe I'm in a shade like this, I could get lost. I move around, but now you find that where you want to go is near you. You're just only rotating in a different direction. So it actually hurted me a lot. But people came and consoled me, say, no, you need to take time to learn so that at least you'll be okay. I started learning slowly, actually. It was very hard.
So how does it feel like? Have you mastered Tell us about that experience, because that's a person
Yes.
watching you would love to know, how do you master the environment of this school, for example? We've moved around and we can see students like moving about freely. You can even doubt if they are totally blind or not, but when you look at them, you really come to know that they are totally what? Blind. How do you get to master the environment around you?
Well, it is a...
What is the science behind it?
Now, the science behind this is what my key now. Because normally when I walk with the confidence, because I've checked in front of mine, where I'm moving, there's no hole, so I walk with the confidence. It is because of this cane.
Okay.
And of course also I master directions, maybe from here to the class, from here to my home. You know, when you saw me coming, I was not guided, I came alone. That's the confidence I have because of the white key.
What should we know about John Bosco Kere's day? Like in the morning, throughout your day, a working day like this one?
Actually, for me, I normally wake up very, very early. From my home, by 4 I'm out.
Okay.
I ensure that I organize my lesson, what I'm going to teach, because I shouldn't come when I'm very green. I also tell the children to wake up by 6. I'm in the class in A level. I teach A level.
Okay.
That is extra lesson that we have arranged. Our internal arrangement by 6. I'm here in the class. Then the normal lesson begin with at 8. When I'm ready, first of all, taught already. So actually I love my job, and there's no problem much as pertain my job. I just love my job.
Away from the teaching, is there anything else you do at school or at home that keeps you busy?
Well, at home, I also do agriculture.
Sure.
I do
how do you
agriculture.
do it? You would love to know that.
Yes, I also go with the others to dig. I just don't sit like the way you are seeing me.
Okay.
I dig, I heap potatoes, I do everything actually, pertain agriculture. Even weeding, I could weed. But what defeat me, maybe when it comes to millet, those ones, then I cannot weed. But cassava and some maize at this size, I can
tell.
weed. I can tell and then weed.
Okay.
So I don't just sit.
You have a family, do you?
Yes, please, I have.
With the children?
Yes, with the children.
How have you managed to cope with your children? You know, parenting is quite tedious. Even for people with normal vision, it becomes quite challenging. How do you go about it, the parenting of your children, guiding them? Because I know they are not visually impaired. Are they?
They are not.
How do you go about it?
Actually, my children, I have a wife. I don't rely on her on helping.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. But of course, educating the parents, we all do as one. My children, they are aware that I don't see. And when they see me moving away, moving astray, they come and say, hey, Daddy, pass here. So they know. And they normally listen when I talk to them. They know. Of course, their fees also pay. Just normal like other parents. They also go to school. Also feeding, I feed them. So actually, they live normal like other children.
Mr. Kere,
Yes,
I want to
please.
come back to your career as a teacher,
Yes.
your career as an administrator. What is your success story, or tell us about your career from school? You have graduated, you now begin your career. Where does it start from up to where we are today?
Well, after completing my education, that's in 2008, I didn't just sit, as I told you. My dream was to be a medical worker. You know, the visual impairment just prevented me. I went to enroll on HIV counseling and guidance. I studied there for a year. I finished, have the certificate. I started looking for a job, actually. For me to get a job in orphanage, I went as a volunteer. Because for me, I wanted to sit. Because I believe that experience is the best teacher. That's how I got the job now. After working without a pay, Now they started asking, do you have a paper? So that's when I started letting them to know my level of education. But I started as a volunteer, and I got the job. And also along that, before I got this job in government, I'm somebody who is so much creative and would lay bricks. If I get some money, I don't eat that money. I will give some people to lay for me bricks, and I would bake and burn it, and then I will look for where people are building. I make the brother to take me to the site with my bricks, and I tell them that now I have something, but I want you to go and buy. Me, I don't want to beg. People with the sympathy, they see the bricks and they say, oh, it's good. They could send and buy my bricks. That is before I was having this job from the government. That's how I was surviving, and life was moving on. And also, I was also cultivating rice.
Sure.
Yes, could cultivate rice. Of course, my woman is there to weed. Then later, God with the easy blessing gives us rain, and we harvest like over 10 sacks. So when we harvest, we keep like 2. We sell 8. Now this 8 is to send the children to school, and the 2 want to eat, and then 1 will remain for another season. And that's how we used to, I was surviving up to now that I got the job now from the government. So it has been a long way like that. And that's how I was pushing on with my life.
How is your teaching career now? How does it start? When does it start? Up to where you are?
My teaching career, I first began in private school. I began in private school.
In Lira?
In Lira. And alongside with that orphanage. Because orphanage, I used to request also to go and, I was working as a volunteer. Yes, I could also request that I have also some school to teach so that I get money. Because here I'm not getting money, I'm just working as a volunteer. So they would understand. It was until when they gave me a full-time job, that's the time I left the teaching in a private school. And I started now working there officially because now I was getting something. But that is it. I started from private school. Then the blindness that came in 2010 tried to interrupt me a bit, to disrupt my career, because I had to stay there again for some years when I was not working because of the pain. So when the pain cooled, I said now look for another alternative. One of the alternatives that I did was to go and train in Braille. Because that time I didn't know Braille completely. So I had to go and train myself in Braille so that in case of any opportunity, I would guess it. And it happened true. When they advertised in 2018, is when they advertised. And they needed about something like 1,500 to 2,000 teachers in various fields. So actually, I was lucky because during that time, it was my subject area was they needed only 38
Teachers.
38 in Uganda, the whole Uganda, you can imagine. So it was just grace of God that out of the 38, I was the fourth in the admission list, short list. And that's how I got the job. So it was just by God's grace that I got that job. It was actually so much competitive. If you see 38, how many people applied? Very many. So that's how I got the job. In this school, you need to be one-on-one with the student. That's why we need to, if you time us, if you give us maybe 40 minutes, that's not enough. It's not enough to follow each child one by one. I know with the rating of Ministry of Education, that one visually impaired student is equal to 10. Meaning that's how tedious it is to teach them. So for them to understand, you have to handle them one by one and make sure that person feel at home. In the new curriculum they are talking of, we normally even arrange extra lessons to catch up with the teaching. Because now you make an hour may not be enough just to explain it over. What about the time when you're giving them time to copy notes? You have to arrange another what? Extra lessons for them. And that's why people, if people are to come here, they would see how teachers labor here to help. They would see. And that's why I just only urge also members, people who love people with visual impairment, they should come and see. Probably they are going to, they could help if they see the situation. But we need to keep moving on like that, so that others, the people with visual impairment also get free, a good education. Because without education, you are nothing. You are not connected at all. But other people would be better than you because when they're not educated, they can get the opportunity to have to ride the borders. But what about you, who's visually impaired? You don't have the sight. If you are not educated, therefore, you not have a future completely.
In other schools, the learners make a choice. They are exposed to all subjects, and then they make their own choice. No, I will continue with this, or I will continue with this. What does it feel like here?
No, now the issue is we don't do, actually, sciences are not totally, they are not left out totally. We have general science where we have physics, chemistry, and biology combined. So we do something, a bit of science, and also agriculture, we do it. But only the challenge is, which qualification would you go? And when it comes to maybe being a doctor, you need to go deep. That's why for me, I didn't give up totally. That's why I went to HIV cancer. That is already part of the medical department I wanted. And I would also work along that line. So here, actually, people are not missing totally anything to do with the science. They have some bit of science here, and they do practical. And what next? What we need to fight is the negative attitude towards person with visual impairment or any other category of disability. Experience I got when I wanted a job, when I became blind. Some people were asking me very, very funny question. How will you write on the blackboard? I told him, the issue is not about writing. First, give me the job, and you monitor. You will monitor.
The teaching and the learning.
Yes, just monitor. The issue I've requested for a job, just give me that chance. Or else, first give me, I work as a volunteer. Then now will give me some payment, because now if you are doubting, I should prove you wrong. That is also the negative attitude. I'm also what? We are getting as people with a visual impairment, which the public are not aware. But if you go deep in schools, any other school, you go deep and ask, is there anybody with a visual impairment or disabled you are employing? They don't need those people. And yet they have the qualification. They are even not aware that the people with disability are very much committed in their work. Very much committed. And that's the negative attitude we still need to fight. Because tomorrow you don't know. I have ever experienced, even the some administrators, they don't know anything to do with what? Disability. They know that disability are there, but they don't know whether they can do the same work. They don't know. A typical example, I asked one of the directors of the certain school in Lira, I don't want to mention, the pastor told me, I wish the government could give you a job as an advisor. You just sit and only advise. I say now, who is the government? You are the government. First give me the job and we see. How will what? How will he perform? And that's the doubt we don't want to. We don't want people to keep doubting. We work. We work. And I work. Ever since I started coming here, we have been working and people have been passing. The same syllabus we handle here, the same in Uganda. And people are passing. So why should people doubt? Why should people doubt? That's the only thing that we normally experience as people with a visual impairment and also other categories of disability. It's still, and we still need more sensitization to be carried out. And you are seeing only some few within the school here. But there are very many persons with visual impairment in the village. They have not come to school. They know whether they don't know whether the school exists or not. Their parents are not aware. I carried out a research on just to collect data on person, one sub-county in Lira. I got like 60 people with visual impairment. Now you can imagine one sub-county, 60. Meaning there are very many who are not in school.
And parents out there have issues with their children of visual impairment. Some have abandoned them. They feel, what can this one also do? You know, as an inspiration, because you've lived with this visual impairment, but you have been able to move to greater heights. What is your message to such parents as we conclude?
So my message to the parents and the public, please, disability, nobody invites. It comes by itself. And all of us are candidates to disability anytime. But we are not wishing others bad luck. What they need to do is to show love to people with visual impairment and other categories of disability, and also take them to school. They should love them just like others. Because normally, see, others are saying, I have 4 children and one what? Blind man. Meaning they are separating what? The children from others. They should have that love, because nobody wants to be disabled. You know, when you are educated, you are empowered. You become independent. Yeah? You cannot stand alone and also run the family. Then when you are not educated, you still lean on others. So we thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kere John Bosco. Thank you so much, our esteemed viewer. That has been Mr. Kere John Bosco, a teacher of history and Christian religious education, St. Francis School for the Blind. It's been good having you on our program. Catch us again on our next edition. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
La for, hit for them, all the time. La for, hit for them, for Islam stand for peace.